Under the Radar, bringing movies and people together, one frame at a time. Hey guys, I'm Randy Younger, and this is a very special edition of Under the Radar, bringing movies and people together, one frame at a time. And with me today, I have the incredible cast and filmmaker of the new drama, The Way We Speak. We've got writer-director Ian Ebright and actors Patrick Fabian, Diana Coconubo, and Kailey Rhodes. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us, man.
Anytime, anytime. So I watched the film last night. Serious stuff, I must say. Really, job well done across the board here. I just want to start with Ian. I know that this film, it came from a painful place, but if you could just talk real quick about the origin and hopefully the healing process of bringing the story to the screen.
Yeah. So Origin was a very sick dad and at least a growing imperfect awareness of what I didn't get. As I would say, my dad never told me who he was or who I was, and I know that I needed that. So there was some anticipatory grief in the writing of it because he hadn't passed yet. And then following the writing of the script, he and my only sibling and mom passed away. So it became this weird art informing life thing. And the second part of your question refreshed me on was the healing process.
Yeah, the healing.
What springs to mind is what my wife said. I became kind of the black sheep of the family, not in any sort of extreme way, but as my language around faith of changed from my upbringing and my politics changed, I was still welcome in the house, but it was weird, as a lot of artists find in the family. It's like, what are you now? And my wife told me when we were making this, she's like, you seem like freed up to make this. This was when I was working with Patrick and Kailey and Deanna. And she was like, I don't know if you would have felt comfortable making this when your, family were still here, because they would have seen it, even though it wasn't and isn't this film, as kind of taking shots. I don't, it's not a film that's trying to punch, but I don't think we also necessarily pull any punches. So I think in a weird way, that kind of encapsulates the healing process, which just felt like, I was the youngest brother. I had two older men in the house, and feeling like, I don't know, I'm the only adult that's left. So I'm going to just kind of explore things with some, great talents and a great crew. And yeah, it felt a little bit like having big kid pants on for the first time. As weird as that sounds at middle age, those of us who are younger siblings know you're somehow always in people's shadow, even if you love them like crazy. So yeah, it arrived at a time where the themes were very much what I was experiencing. So it was a really, there are much less healthy lifelines in terms of going through grief than having a film to make.
Well, I'm glad it was a therapeutic experience for you. And yeah, it's just a really special film. I can tell it's from the heart. So
thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So the actors, how did you guys get involved with this project? Diana.
Yeah, I auditioned for it at the time. I was in New Hampshire, and we had the call back. And next thing I know, I'm flying to Portland.
Nice.
Never been there before. Yeah, it all happened really quickly, at least for my experience as Claire. It was a very condensed time period.
And you play a character who's obviously not well physically. Did you kind of tap into any personal experiences, people that you knew or that you know? Did you use any of that to inform your character?
Yes. Yes. I mean, my roommate survived. She's a cancer survivor. And so I experienced that with her head on and very much in a tight space. So that was informative because, she just had a very positive outlook, and she wasn't going to let cancer, ruin her good time. So I think similarly, Claire walks that fine line of, not feeling well, yes, not necessarily wanting to be there, but also able to masquerade in a way.
Yeah, so basically fragile, but at the same time, kind of a quiet strength. So that definitely came through.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Kailey, how about you? How'd you get on board?
I auditioned with like a huge debate scene. So it was a lot of pressure to try to memorize all of that and make it convincing um, with only like a tiny aperture view into like what was my larger argument? Like what kind of believer am I? What kind of woman am I? What kind of author am I? Like trying to nail that in an audition with a lot of text was kind of intimidating. And then I got a call back and I was in Mexico. And I remember I got on, Ian, I don't know if you remember this, but I got on and they were like, hey, we want to see if you can do the debate scene again. Because they're in my email, the callbacks was a different side. It was a side with Simon, like meeting Simon, which I don't know if you remember from the film, but is like pretty flirtatious and pretty full of vitality from both of them. And it's a different tenor. And but that was the side for the callback. And then Ian was like, I don't know, do you mind if we kind of do the debate again? And like I was like, let me get my Hamlet monologue ready. And like I was like, I'm sorry, brother, I don't have it. And I was like, oh, I fucking blew it. I blew it. I told my agent, I called my agent afterwards and I was like, ugh! And then he like called me 10 minutes later back and he was like, no, you booked it, you're good. And so it was a sweet moment of like being like, oh man, it didn't matter that I didn't like check boxes that are a little bit asinine sometimes. Like she's not wearing pantyhose and she's not in a dress. We can't cast her in the musical. But it just felt like it was more like let's find our Sarah. Let's find like the person that is going to be a worthwhile opponent to Simon and a correct foil for the very like the secret star of the show, who's Claire.
Yeah, and it's a very dialogue heavy film, and you recite each line perfect. Like it's like a machine almost. Like it's almost too good. So I just want to commend you on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, the debate scenes they're pretty intense. So I'm really happy to have seen that. Patrick, you are obviously a seasoned thespian. What was it like? What was your approach to this role? What attracted you to the part?
First of all, I appreciate the word seasoned, well chosen. You know, it's about something. Ian is trying to talk about something. And I'll be honest, when I first read through the script, I wasn't sure exactly what it was he was talking about, but I knew he was trying. And my job isn't to know. My job is to discover and help discover, right? To help unearth, illuminate, that sort of notion. And so that appealed to me without a doubt. And we got on the phone and started talking about it, exchange of ideas and whatnot. And honestly, I remember talking to him and he also was like, well, yeah, it's kind of about this. I think it might be about this, but he also was like, I'm not sure it's about either, but it came out of me and I love that passion. So, you sign on board with passion like that and you say, great, lead me. Let's see where we go. And then we end up, at a table read in Portland. We're all assembled, and I meet, Kailey for the first time, and I meet Deanna for the first time, and I meet Ian for the first time, and there we are. Now we got this thing, and this thing that was in his head that he put on the page. Boom! I love sitting around that table that first time, reading aloud, no pressure, words only. What's going on? And the words had life. There was a river of spirit that was moving right there. And at that point, you're like, well, now it's just practical nuts and bolts. Everybody department, how are we going to harness this river a little bit so somebody else can go take a ride on it,
So we're on the second floor, and next to us is like a jazzercise thing. So in like almost like a cliche like SNL skit, like it feels like the walls are vibrating with bass. And yet, none of us, as Patrick just said, none of us have like met each other. And by the time we get to the last scene, I look over at Deanna, I'm tearing up. I think Deanna was tearing up. I mean, it was these things that you can't, sort of have an insurance policy against in the audition. You're still making a huge bet on character and taste and judgment, all these things. You're like, I hope it's there. And then we get these people and like the room's vibrating, but it's just text on a page until you have actors like these three who are, despite the distractions. I mean, and I've rewritten the thing 50 times by then, and like I'm teary. I feel like I'm hearing it for the first time. So it's what Patrick is saying and adding on to it. It's, you watch movies like Moonlight or something. There's certain films that I see every once in a while where I'm like, everybody brought their A game, but that thing has pixie dust. And, you know, of course I'm biased to this, but I feel that way about ours because, and to me, the pixie dust is these intangibles of people with character and taste and expertise. And they made the text come alive. They're the ones that get the credit for making it special.
And that leads me to my next question. Collaboration. I can tell just from this Zoom call that that's very important to you guys. Going into the film, how important is teamwork and collaboration, Deanna?
I mean, it's everything.
Right.
It really is. Otherwise, it's, you know, it's you against you. There's no energy, there's no flow. So we were really lucky to have Ian and each other, in fact. Everybody, actually. I mean, obviously the entire crew. I mean, there's so many more people than just the four of us who laid everything out on the line. You know, I think we shot in 18 days. It was a very intense, tight schedule, and everybody showed up. And kudos to everyone in Portland. I mean, the entire crew is just so lovely and excited. You know, that's what I found to be thrilling. But yeah, without the collaboration, I don't think we would have accomplished what we all did, because things changed in the moment. You know, we're shooting maybe there's a word or there's something that just isn't quite hitting right, and Ian was just always so available and open to change for what I think was the best cumulative effect.
Yeah. And that's very, very apparent. So kudos to all of you guys. Kailey, a question for you. You were on that stage with Patrick. How intimidating was that? Or was it easy breezy for you to just be on that stage and spouting all those one-liners and making your arguments? What was that experience like for you?
I'm like right back there. I'm remembering it. I, as a theater actor and as this is my first feature film, like, it's not like I've done like a lot of little stuff and this is the first big thing. Like, this is kind of the first thing. And I was so terrified of being underprepared, because I don't know what a set is. I don't know. And so I was just like, I know my lines, and Patrick Fabian, everyone's talking about what a big deal he is, but like I had purposely not watched Better Call Saul because Breaking Bad like ruined me. So I get, you know, we all get addicted to our shows, so I couldn't fall for another man, you know. And but I remember standing there and being like, oh my gosh, my nerves are serving Sarah so much. Like, this is her first debate. Like, and she comes off stage and Patrick's character is like, Simon's like, hey, you'll get it next time. And her being like, I thought I did pretty well. Like, I love, because she does fine. But she's green. And like, I was just like, hey, you're green, she's green, just lean in. And aren't we lucky as hell that this big star is the nicest man ever?
I love it. That's awesome. So it's like art imitating life, basically. So very cool. Patrick, how much of Simon is in you? How much of his character is ingrained in your actual personality and behavior, would you say?
You know, throughout my seasoned body of work, I'm not a character actor. I don't know if you've noticed that. You know, I'm so there's a lot of Simon in me, without a doubt. And that also comes freighted with just the facts that I'm a white guy over 50. And I have the cumulative benefits of being that guy, which Simon also possesses. And that sense of entitlement, and that sense of it's my turn, and it's a sense of wanting to win and being top dog. And if you're not, then you're nothing, then everything's worthless. And it's got those blinders on as you pursue whatever it is. What I like about the film is that those blinders get peeled away and leaves him at a place where he's vulnerable, and maybe he's not sure that his choices that he's made throughout his life are really worthy of the time spent. What are you going to do with the time left with you? That sort of idea. And that's what I like, the notion that the film talks to. But I can certainly plug into the notion of wanting to use words as weapons, wanting to out-talk your opponent. I got the gift of Irish in me when it comes to that. So if you actually have facts on your side, I'll just dazzle you with bullshit instead. So I think Simon relies on that. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect response. And another character of yours who I love was Dr. Lasky in Saved by the Bell, The College Years. And there's some sort of some similarities here in the academia world and whatnot. But I want to thank you for that performance as well.
Absolutely. Look, hey, let's just say I kissed Kelly Kapowski, and that was enough for my tombstone. So
perfect. All right, so the way we speak, it is going to be released on July 23rd in theaters, and I want to thank all of you guys. This was incredible. The movie is really good. It's strong. It means something. It's not, about a superhero or a giant monster attacking a city. It's about human beings, which I love, which I love to review. I love to talk about, and I just want to commend each and every one of you.
Great. Randy, thanks so much. And a reminder that it's also out in VOD on July 20th.
Thank you, sir. There you go. All right, guys. Well, this has been Under the Radar. I'm your host, Randy Unger. Under the Radar, bringing movies and people together, one frame at a time. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.